All right, here we are today, and we're going to go to some places that most people don't traditionally go to when they're talking about businesses and people's journeys. I want to talk to you so much about believing in yourself. It doesn't matter what the Joneses think, the neighbors, what anybody thinks. You got to go with what's in your heart in life. And if you do that, you will be successful in your soul, in your heart. Sometimes, we, in our journey of life, in our journey of business, there's failures. So you're going to make those. And when I say believe in yourself, and you're going to go, well, I believed in myself, but I stubbed my toe. That's okay. We're going to do that. And on every one of our shows, and if you read any business book, I talked about Michael Jordan and how many times he failed. We fail. That's okay to fail, because that's when we learn, and that's when we get stronger. We learn about those mistakes that we don't want to make again. And so I'm not saying go out on purpose and fail, but we're going to do that. And you got to believe in yourself enough. As a young actor, I got to tell you, I was 19 and going on 20, 30 auditions a week and stubbing my toe and listen to these casting directors and my agent go, oh, you were great. You were so great. Did I ever get a call back? No. It was so frustrating. It made me crazy. But those failures helped me learn that if I want to succeed, I got to keep going. If I loved what I was doing, I got to keep going. And I loved performing and I loved acting, and I loved breaking down those characters. So it really didn't matter on that audition whether I failed or not. I had the chance to have a script in my hand and do a character analysis and breakdown and really go deep into who I wanted to be as that character. And that was so much fun for me. And it's like that in business or whatever you want to do. You break it down, and I loved it. And if you love what you do, you'll eventually be successful. Because here I am 4 decades later going, God, I'm still doing this thing I love to do. And I never really realized about the money, and I've got a fantastic life, and I've built a wonderful life. I have a great family. I got 3 boys in college, and I'm able to afford that, which is really surprising, today's prices of schools. So we'll even get into that more later. But listen, and so love what you do, believe in yourself. And my guest today, we're going to drill down to that because he experienced all of that stuff. He's one of those entrepreneurs that has found success, even though he had one of the roughest upbringings. He literally shouldn't be where he is today, except he believed in himself. And I can't wait for him to tell that journey and how he overcame so much to get to where he is. And we were talking about his kids earlier, and still teaching, right? Well, they're still young, so as he is. But let me introduce to you right now my special guest today, Patrick Linstrom. Tell me a little bit about your family life as a kid, and then how you overcame those challenges, those difficult times, and what believing in yourself meant.
Yeah. Thank you, Tommy, for having me here. And,
of course.
And I would say tough challenges, it's all relative, right? So, you might be at home and it might not be that tough, but for you, it's tough. And then you might be in another country, poor, can't eat, and that's a whole different tough. And I think in life, what we forget is it's all relative. It is relative to what we go through. So I think when you're in your tough, it's going to seem real tough for other people, and for you, another day of living.
You said a good point. Tough is relative to everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Their tough may not be your tough, right? Yeah. So did you understand at this younger age, you're going through these times, that anything was different than anybody else? Or was it just, this is the way life is? You thought this is the way it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I didn't think. To be honest, I didn't think it was tough. I just thought this is what you're doing. Your dad's not around, and you think of your dad as a superhero.
Yeah,
because that's who he is in your mind. Because you don't know any better. And then when he starts showing up, it ends up becoming a mess. But, I grew up North Austin, love North Austin. There's a lot of fun stuff we did, playing in the creek, doing all that kind of a mess. Walnut Creek was right there. It was awesome. Moved to Pflugerville, went to Pflugerville Middle School, Pflugerville High School, and it was, that's north side of Austin. Really cool. And I realized real young, you have one life to live. So you need to get involved in everything. So right away, football, track. I was horrible at basketball, so couldn't make the team. That's just life. Yeah. But football, track. I did drama. Did 4 musicals while we were there.
Wow.
Class president. Did all that fun stuff. So I actually did.
You were excelling. I was in high school. I mean, class president, playing football. That's a pretty big deal in high school.
Well, talking to the principal, he says, "Hey, maybe you should pick one." Right? Like maybe you're doing too much. Do you ever think you're doing too much? And I never understood that concept. And I think in life, it's not, Tommy, as you know, in life, entrepreneurs we're not that simple. So, we'll have our hands in a lot of different things. So
that's right. Tell me about that young Patrick. What did you feel, that entrepreneurial spirit? How did you, why did you want to become class president?
I mean, as early as 4th, 5th grade, I wanted money. So I'm walking around neighborhoods with a lawnmower trying to make some money. And that became 5th grade into 6th grade into 7th grade. And then, in 7th grade on up, you realize I make more money mowing lawns than I do working at, HEB or working at, any location that is a normal job.
Sure.
Per hour, you make more money mowing a lawn. Why wouldn't I just get a lot of lawns? So early on,
pretty easy.
Yeah, early on, I'm sitting there just mowing a ton of lawns to make money, and I think early on that was important to me, was understanding time, how time and the amount of money you spend was really important, or how much money you were making for your time, because you have so limited time. Why do you want to sit around at a store and wait for somebody?
That's pretty deep thinking for a high schooler.
Yeah, it just that came pretty natural, and then it was, how do you multiply the ROI you can make from your time. It was, I think a lot of us have that naturally. They talk about entrepreneurs, that anybody can be an entrepreneur. I taught entrepreneurial process, and we'll get into later, but they say anybody can be an entrepreneur, and I find that a little, anybody can do it, but it's a lot easier for some people than others.
Yeah, risk. That propensity to take risk is different, right? Because some people want to settle back into that hourly job just because it's secure. And you didn't jump right into being an entrepreneur. You tell me, out of high school, what happened in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So to me, the most natural person, or the one that felt that was the honest, was my pastor. And so I watched him growing up and thought, man, that's a good guy. If I want to be a good guy, I want to be more like that guy. So he did his undergrad at Oral Roberts University. So I said, I guess I'm going to ORU. And I did my undergrad in New Testament studies and English Bible. And when I graduated, that year was 9/11. So yeah. So in high school, I'm seeing this. So the first response you're thinking is, hey, I need to go to the military. And so that was always in my mind, was at some point I'm probably going to go to the military. And so I did my undergrad, and then I thought, what would be great is I go get a Master of Divinity and then be a chaplain. So, excuse me. So I went to Baylor and did an MDiv. And while I was there, I did chaplaincy candidacy, chaplaincy candidacy. And that was great. I did officer military training and served quite a few years. One of the places was Lackland Air Force Base. But, I enjoyed being a chaplain, praying, all that fun stuff. But I didn't reappoint because I just felt like there was just a little too much waste in the government. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but I felt not comfortable, with all the expenditure happening. I decided I'd rather be an entrepreneur than do this.
So you're in the military. You see a lot of waste going on, and you decide you want out. You're married, kid on the way. jack up your credit cards. Probably the most insane thing, but that's what we do as entrepreneurs, some pretty crazy things. What did your wife say about that? Let's roll the dice. We got a baby on the way. Usually the wives are trying to keep us grounded.
Oh, she don't want to look at me. I mean, it's all on my credit card. So she wants nothing to, and my backup plan was, okay, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to go Air Force full time and I'll be in Afghanistan. I'll be back after I make the money that that I lost.
Sorry, honey.
So my bad. The great thing was, we lost everything. And I worked with a couple companies that formulated our first product. So the first product.
Wait. You jacked your credit cards up to do what? What just this dream?
So,
you had a dream, an idea that was going to change the world.
Well, see, Tommy, after you stop playing Madden and you start getting real with life and you come up with ideas, and it was simple syrup. It was already out there, just sugar water.
Yeah.
Right? And as a young kid from Texas, we drank a lot of sweet tea, and going to restaurants that didn't have any sweet tea, you're using sugar packets and you're just dumping and it just sits at the bottom of your cup.
Yes.
And it was really that simple. I thought, I bet I could make a business out of this. And I saw it was out there.
Better idea.
That's it. And I saw it was out there, but I thought I could probably do it better than the people that have it out there. And I don't know why I thought that. I just thought I could do it better. So I realized that I was inept. I didn't know what I was doing. I was going to learn all I could. And I ran into a formulation company, and they took 3 months to develop sugar water for me and cost me so much money.
Just to figure out how to melt sugar.
Just keep it stable. There's a pH to it. There's, certain temperatures, but it's so simple. I mean, you go to a food scientist department and at a school, and they can help you, and it costs you a Starbucks card of $100. Yeah. So, I learned my lesson. But I was completely broke. I spent all my money making sugar. And first I started with sugar packets, like simple syrup in a packet. So completely broke. And now I'm like, okay, God, listen, like I'm just trying to listen to you. And I know I've made some mistakes, but I promise I love you. You don't need to prove anything with me. You try to talk yourself out of a hard time. Yeah. Right. I mean, we've all been there. So I'm sitting there trying to talk myself out of a hard time with God. And soon enough, I get a call from HEB, and HEB says, we're going to put your product in. So
wow.
We're like, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to make millions of dollars. No, you don't make millions of dollars. But then you get a call from Walmart, and Walmart says, we're going to put you in 600 stores. And you go, wow, I'm going to be.
Now, how does that happen though? How does that happen?
That's a great question.
To me, it sounds like a good idea. There was nobody that had a liquid sugar at the time. As far as, was simple syrup just in bars and restaurants, or did they actually have product?
Yeah, they were in bars and restaurants, and then there was big containers of it at certain locations. And I didn't notice that until later when I launched the product. Oh. But nobody was doing it for the home user.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was trying to get.
They really weren't. And so, that's how we started. But I had a friend that introduced me to one of his friends, and his name is actually Tommy as well, Tommy McClintock. And Tommy was a VP at Coca-Cola, so he knew a lot of people. And his last job was representing Coca-Cola to Walmart, and so he would negotiate there. So I'm 24 at the time, and he's like, I got a meeting with Walmart, and I'm not going. I'm 24. No one's going to respect me. So Tommy, I got a great idea. You go, and you represent us. And so it was actually him that got the Walmart deal done. Yeah.
So okay. Well, did you have it still in the little packets? Is that what?
No. Well, I tried to launch in the packets, and I was struggling so much. So actually, Tommy did come up with the idea of putting it in a bottle as well. He said, "This is a packet second generational. You need to be in a bottle."
Yeah.
And so he said, "Start in the bottle, and then we'll work to the packets." We're still working to the packets because we never did them.
So how was that feeling to get the big elephant?
It's a great question.
All of a sudden, he comes back and says, "Okay, we got a purchase order."
It was the first year at Walmart. We got into 600 locations the first year. And what we didn't know is the distribution of Walmart. I believe it's 51 or 52 DCs, distribution centers. So when you sell to Walmart, they buy it, but they buy it per DC. So if you have one store and one DC and they want one case, one 6-count case, you now have to pay to ship one 6-count case to that DC. So there's things you don't know when you start.
Yeah.
And so my first year at Walmart, where I thought I was going to make, what's that number, gazillion? And I lost $10,000 because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so after the first year, I went back to Walmart and said, look, I need to raise my price 50 cents per bottle, and I need to be in at least 1,000, or I think it was at least 1,200 stores. Well, they ended up putting us in almost 3,000 stores and took our price increase. So
wow,
that's really what helped us
to
get to the next level, was Walmart saying, you're doing a great job on the sugar aisle. We're gonna go in on this. But when we hit Walmart, we were pretty good. But then when we hit Target, we got into half the Targets, so 1,000 Targets. Wow. And that really took care of a lot of things for us. We ended up in a lot of locations. It was something like 8,500 locations.
No kidding.
I can't remember exactly the number, but I felt good when we hit our first million sales in a year, and we were doing B2B with Tyson, sweetening their jerky.
Oh my God! You're in 8,500 stores around the country. You're feeling pretty good. Let's get right to the reality and the pivot. And the change, and so what happened? What happened to Kelly's Delight?
I could see the stores. You're selling $1 million, but there's not a ton of ROI, return on investment from that $1 million that you're generating. I see these certain things, but then I see on the market side, B2B, I'm selling 5-gallon buckets a truckload at a time. Okay, there's a big margin in there, and it's the rotation of money at that point. I know I'm selling this for $30,000. Well, I put in my order with the co-packer, and I pretty much make $10,000 every time this order comes through, and I'm not having to do anything but move a piece of paper. It's a whole lot easier for you to make money that way versus going to retail and trying to pitch something and having a sponsor coupon. Yeah. So you saw the rotation of money a little bit differently.
Did you feel that was kind of the thing? If you had 30 SKUs they were all making you 50 cents, probably is a different play at that point.
Yeah, for me, there was one thing that was a problem that I saw was I'm using a co-packer. So most people that have their own brands, what they do is they don't package it themselves. Sometimes when they start, they'll have their own little place. But most people use a co-packer. And when you're using a co-packer, there's so much you can't control. So in other words, I put an order in to somebody and I say, hey, can you make me 100,000 bottles? Here's my bottles. Here's my sugar. Here's everything. And they all do it a little bit differently. But I was noticing I couldn't control quality that way. And so there would be product I would get in and I'd be like, oh, you're kidding me. I mean, this is sugar water. How's it orange?
And especially when you order that much.
Yeah, you order 100,000 bottles, and then you're trying to sell through the stuff. And, you want to have a conversation with them, but they're like, hey, sorry, sell it, And so I'm going through that. So I'm thinking everybody has to be going through that. And the other thing is we had a couple co-packers, they would sell their company. And then you had no co-packer to produce your product because they sold that company.
Wow.
Folded up, right? There's people out there, their whole job is to fold up a company. So they'll hire these guys as their CEO, and they'll max out all their credit lines, sell their building, and then boom, file for bankruptcy and leave everybody hanging. It's incredible. So there was a couple co-packers that I saw that had done that and left me hanging, and I tried to go to another co-packer to produce our product, and the price was astronomical. I couldn't afford to make any money. You try to keep your same margin and you'll lose your business. So then all of a sudden you're just not making any money. And I thought to myself, the power is with the co-packer. That's where the power is. If I can become a co-packer, I could really control whatever our destination needs to be.
Yeah.
And, I went to the bank and said, hey, I want to buy a building so that we can produce some product, right? Here's my purchase orders. Here's everything I have. And I really want to buy this building. And we have enough equity from these other homes. And the businesses, the bank is like, No. Well, why not? Well, I don't know you.
You're good at this, but now you're gonna like, throw it all into here.
Yeah. Now you've got this building that it was a meat market plant before we got it, and so they slaughtered animals and they kept it in chicken coops and everything. Oh, it was a mess. And it was a family that owned it for a long time, and the kids just didn't know how to keep it going. So the building folded on itself. And so I ended up talking a local guy into buying it for a lease to buy option.
Yeah.
Great guy. I'll keep his name out of it, but great guy. And one of the things he had said to me was, "You're crazy. I like it. Let's do it." And
all right.
He was a great mentor for a long time for me, and helped me understand the issues I was having on business and what I was missing. And he probably thought I learned nothing from him. I didn't take any of his notes, but I really appreciate the guy, and he was very helpful. So he bought that building with a lease to own, and so we started putting equipment in. And I didn't tell him the whole picture. I just told him, "Hey, I've got these bulk orders. I need to fill them. I'm just going to put a tank in here, and 1,500 gallon tank, a boiler, and we're just going to push this stuff into 5-gallon drums, or buckets." And but really, I started building a line. I started building all this stuff, and I look kind of crazy, but I'm doing it anyway. And so we start building, and there's so much I didn't know, and we make these mistakes, and then we learn from it. And you hire all the wrong people, and then you got to let everybody go, and then hire a whole new group of people. And you learn and learn and learn, and finally it clicks, right? And at some point I had to bring my older brother in because I trusted him, and he was smart, and he was working in Austin. And said, "Hey, I really need somebody I can trust, that I can just give everything I have and give it to them, and let them be in charge back there so we can keep growing this thing." So he came up, and I trained him and a maintenance guy for 35 weeks back there. Just read every manual, read everything, did everything I could, and got that off the ground. And at that time, it's call it 2019, 2020. Mm-hmm. What's going on at that time?
Wow. Yeah.
COVID, right? So we got COVID going on, and
oh my gosh.
And I started getting these calls for hand sanitizer because I have an alcohol license, and I get a call and a call, and all of a sudden I've got my 6th call on hand sanitizer.
Wow.
And so everybody wants you to make hand sanitizer all of a sudden. And so this guy calls me and says, "I need 1 million bottles of hand sanitizer. I need it like tomorrow." And so I'm thinking, Tommy, mind you, I'm smoking a cigar while I'm thinking this. So it's like everything you can imagine, right?
You were still doing Kelly's Delight as well.
I was doing Kelly's Delight, and I was a co-packer, so I was running a lot of other people's products.
Okay.
Right. But I get called about doing a million bottles of sanitizer, and I said, well, I got to ask everybody to, take a step back so I can run this. It's going to cost you $1.50. I need 50% of it up front.
Yeah.
24 hours later, I had $750,000 in my account. I said, let's go. We're a hand sanitizer company. And so we went and bought another building, invested in a line, got another $2.5 million line. We just started buying and trying to get to the next level from where we were. We had a small facility, wanted a couple facilities, and grew it from there.
And that was made because the COVID and pushing out this hand sanitizer. But you had enough other ancillary business, or did you kind of put some eggs in that basket?
We when the hand sanitizer came, we just ran it, and we pushed everybody out, ran the tar out of it, and then brought everybody else back in.
I see.
So
because that only lasted for a year, maybe.
Yeah. We ran millions of bottles.
Yeah. And so you didn't start building the second facility till after the run?
So we started running hand sanitizer at the first facility, and we were still running it by the time we got to the second facility, but we were already pivoting. And you know how it is in life. You're always looking and going, okay, some things aren't going to last forever, and that's totally fine. Hopefully we made good moves for the economy, and hopefully make good moves for the people. And at some point they don't need hand sanitizer anymore. And at some point hand sanitizer was a mess. I mean, it was everywhere. Nobody wanted to see it. Just saying the word made people want to throw up. and I don't blame them. And there was some nasty stuff out there. We ran some great stuff, but there was some other people, stuff from China that was just horrendous. It was gross. And then there was stuff from Mexico. Everybody's getting from this one place in Mexico, and it is disgusting. Not good for you.
Wow.
Horrible. They shut the place down, but those people made millions and millions of dollars before they shut it down.
And so you became this co-packer. How do you survive where others couldn't in the co-packing business?
Well, I think most of these people that are closing their doors and co-packing, usually it's because they're cashing out and they're not forced close. A lot of them get purchased, and then there are people that can't make it. And I think the people that I saw that couldn't make it were from the industry, and they ran a plant, like they ran a line, and they get hired by somebody else who has money, and they think they can just make this happen. But in reality, a lot of people are full of themselves, and what happens when you get full of yourself is you don't study, you don't learn from your mistakes, right?
Yeah.
You don't even see your mistakes. So for me, being new and being okay with being, inept, I was able to learn from everybody else. People would come in and go, "You need to know what you're doing. Here's what you need to be doing," and not just, okay. Hey, I appreciate the free information.
Got the education.
Thank you. Yeah, those are all good things. I'm going to throw away that last one, but the rest of them, they look great.
Yeah, because at some point, like Kelly's Delight, for instance, y'all are doing to consumer liquid sugar. Are you still doing that, or are you now doing the big, where it really makes money?
Yeah, we do both. We do both, but it's so small. It's Amazon. We sell Kelly's Delight on Amazon, and it's just there because there's still people that really want it, and so we make sure it's on the market. And at some point,
I do love it. I just want to tell you,
thank you.
I've been using it for a long time.
And at some point, we're going to launch some like an old-fashioned type mix. Right now we have a lab, and we can make anything now. So it's incredible when you have a manufacturing plant and you can just produce products, what you can come up with. So soon enough, we're trying to make some switches to our bottle, because the bottle we have is great, and we own the mold to it. The mold is the actual cavity that creates the bottle. So say I own the mold, you own the bottle. And
so was that a smart thing for you?
It's a great question.
To be able to own that, or did you think, hey, we should own that, or getting something off the shelf?
Yeah, there was definitely ROI in buying the bottle, because I bought it 10, 12 years ago, and I bought it at a time where I wanted a face that was big enough to make advertisement, and everything that was considered hot fill, where you fill it hot, there were weird shapes, and
I see.
You have to fill it at 185 degrees to make sure it's shelf stable, and they were just weird shaped bottles, and they didn't look good, so I ended up going to the syrup.
Okay. You've got a plant, and you're cranking out product, anything you want. So I'm kind of excited because, I support dogs and dog rescue in our TV show, and we're working on things to really to help the life of our puppies and keep them in good shape. And what's neat that's come out of this is my buddy that formulates product. You're now formulating a great nutritional product that we can offer for To the Rescue, offer these pets and rescue dogs that are going to give them nourishment and good health.
Yep.
And so we're going to come out with this product, which you're helping formulate for us and manufacture. That's the good part of having friends in the co-packing business.
Yeah.
Because you can get us there. You just can't go out of business, because we're gonna like help support good life and good health for millions of dogs all over the world. You can't shut down. You can't be like the other co-packers. You got to keep cranking this product out. So we can.
Haven't found somebody to come in to help me liquidate.
Yeah, don't talk about it yet. But the beauty of this thing is that we can now, because we try to help support, the tens of thousands of shelters and rescues around the world, and just think if we can get these rescue dogs in big trouble, right? Mm-hmm. They come in just beat up, health, malnutrition. Mm-hmm. They have mange and so many health problems. And if I can get this formula that we've worked on, mm-hmm. and I think we got it down to every one of these rescue dogs, right?
Yeah.
You just and what I like is we came up with this formula that's a liquid.
Mm-hmm.
So many of them, it's all dry kibble. But if we can pour this liquid nutrition on top of that, and it's easy dispensable for these these shelters. I want to supply it to all our shelter friends and rescues around the country.
Yeah.
You know, they can't afford it, so that's part of our 501c3s. We're gonna give them product for these dogs in trouble and really give them some great nourishment.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting for me, and I had to bring that up and preach. Hey, you know, to the rescue, new nutrition packets, and we'll offer something fun. Like every time you buy one, we're going to give a case away or something. Yeah. We're going to give it away anyway to these wonderful rescues. But what's cool, and brought it around because you brought me a product that you now can formulate in your own line. Mm-hmm. And how'd you come up? So you brought some of this for me. So I'm going to stick it up here to try. And I did try it, and it's good. And I went, why? You know, you said I'm doing collagen. Well, why collagen? And look at this cool little packet, and it's kind of like a Jell-O shot. Yeah. Tell me about this and this pivot and fun stuff you can do now that you have your own line.
Yeah, so
tell me about that.
This product is called collagen, and the idea was there's certain products out there that are just so good for you, and we spend a lot of time working with other companies in our lab. So we work with startup companies to billion-dollar companies, and they're all over the place. So those people come in and we formulate for them. And I really like what collagen does, hair, nails, and skin. As a bald guy, I care a lot about my hair.
Into your hair.
But, you know, it's so healthy for you. And, you know, my youngest Parker, she has skin issues, you know, and she's always itchy. So I'm trying to find something more natural for her to, you know, help with her skin. And so, you know, we have her taking this. It's helping quite a bit. And also for me, you know, I also have a immune disorder. So I've taken this. I mean, I haven't, you know, you can barely tell, but I haven't had nails in forever. It's been like 15 years. So I'm seeing my nails grow back that I'd never seen before. So it is a really important product, and women really like collagen. And so collagen has been a really great product for us to launch for women who don't want to ruin their morning coffee by pouring a ton of collagen in there, but they want something that's quick, easy, and they can take it. And a lot of women, they'll take pills, and there's a certain brand out there. There's not enough collagen in these pills. They're just, you need so much collagen. So this, you know, on the pill side, this is like 26 of those pills. It's ridiculous. So,
but this is like an average daily
exactly
that you should take or something.
Yeah. So the average daily is anywhere between, I believe it's 8 and 16, and that's just off the top of my head. This is 12 grams of protein and collagen. So it's super healthy for you. And then it has all the other balanced amino acids that make it active in your body.
You know what I'm mostly impressed of, because, you know, we're talking business and life and everything else, but you're so smart, because you told me you said, listen, that I want to do something that's great for human beings and life and important. But you said, well, you know, I have a relationship with Amazon, and you went and did some homework to see what is one of the best-selling products on Amazon. Now, y'all should learn this. Do your homework to see, because you didn't do this with Kelly's Delight completely, no. To see what is really the market looking for. What is the market looking for? Patrick, should I ask you?
It's funny, because with Kelly's Delight, I actually was watching a Good Eats show, it was Alton Brown, and he was talking about the properties of simple syrup. And I was like, that's it. I'm doing that. And And then on this, I was talking to somebody and just talking to somebody who can see all the numbers on the backside of Amazon.
Yes.
And so this was, to me, the thing I like about this product is it's actually helpful. It's smaller, so you can, there's a bigger ROI in shipping something like this. I can ship it, it's a pound, you know, so I can offer free shipping and it not kill the budget, and I can offer it at a price where everybody can afford it, and it's still a great win for everybody.
Really, let's figure out a need.
Yeah.
This is a need.
Yeah.
Because they're buying it by the truckloads. Mm-hmm. So if you can just get a little piece of that footprint in that collagen business, you got a home run.
If you go to our website, wacobottling.com, I have a link on there where you can click. It'll say new products or something like that at the top of the page. You click that, and I made videos on just how to start a product, right? Different things about starting a product, and they're free videos, but I did it because when I started, we just talked about that story where I spent all that money. I didn't need to do that. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it going, I went through all that pain. Somebody has to, make a reward from that. So I made all these videos, and I go through non-disclosure agreements, how to test a product, how to save money, how to formulate yourself.
The beauty is you're giving it to them for free, just for educational purposes. And there's probably some overflow because they're going to, if they want to get the bottling business, they could use Waco Bottling.
Yeah, and it is.
But that's probably not your top priority.
Well, I'm a big believer that, if you give, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So when you give the honor of God, and He'll supply your needs. When you see somebody else succeed and that person, and you celebrate in their success, it's so important for you as a person.
Look, we learned so much today, and I appreciate it for you being here and sharing your journey, because it was an important one. And there's so much that you're giving back, and I love that. And I love that you created a whole video series about how to create a business in your business, right? And you're giving it away to people as a gift. I always do one quick thing because it's so important to me to talk about puppy dogs, and because it's so part of our life. So make sure you guys, and 80% of you have pets at home. Make sure you get your pets spayed and neutered, and support your local shelters and give back. It's so important because there's too many of these dogs running the streets, and kitty cats, and the dogs are so important, and family pets are so important to our kids and to our lives. And I know when you go home, who's waiting for you there at the door? It's that dog with that tail shaking.
It's that cat we just picked up because somebody found it by a dumpster and decided to bring it to my house a couple months ago.
Yes.
It's that cat coming.
He's coming over.
Yeah.
You
coming
want
to say hi.
Your kids to come. They used to come when they were young, or your wife. Why aren't y'all shaking your tail? Come on. No, it's that puppy dog. So when we've had that tough day where we've made some dumb decisions and we go, oh God, there's a lot of pressure. And then that little animal gets on you. It changes everything.
I got to tell you this little story. I know you're closing up, but
no, please.
Yeah, my kids, we end up with pets. I don't know how it happened. So we ended up with this cat 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm telling, it's a dog, and their friends found it by a dumpster, and then called my kid and say, hey, I found this cat. Can I take it to your house?
Yeah.
And of course my kids don't ask anything. They just
bring it.
They just say, yeah, of course you can bring it to my house, right?
Of course.
All of a sudden got this baby cat, and my wife Kelly, she cannot help it with animals. It's just like, yes, comes,
I love that.
Yeah, it's like, just comes flowing out of her mouth, And of course, I have an opinion, but I keep it to myself. And so we bring in this cat and get it fixed. It is like a dog, and we have another little dog, and those two are just following each other around doing dog things together.
That's just so great.
My oldest will hold a toy and throw it, and the cat will go and fetch it. I don't know what's going on, but it's a cool cat. So you never know what you're going to find.
You never know what you're going to find for mental health, right? It's the best medicine to overcome social media for children. Get that pet, because that dog or that cat's going to love them up no matter what. The cat doesn't care what they're saying on social media. There's not that pressure. It doesn't matter what you look like in the mirror. Doesn't matter if you have a pimple today or tomorrow. They're going to love you up, and they're going to help that mental health of our children as well as us. They're the greatest thing in the world. So take care of your animals, and go to therescuetv.com, and we'll help you with any solutions or problems that you're having with your pup. We'll sure try to answer any questions or any of that stuff. But thanks so much, my dear friend, for coming on and telling us about your journey. It was so important. And I'm excited for the new products. I'm excited for the new To The Rescue food topper that's going to help these rescue dogs.
I think that'll be one of many products that To The Rescue will end up with. So
thank you, my friend.
I'm excited about it.
Me too.